It's easy to get excited. Yeah, I love that. Oh, I'm so sorry. We have another song.
Sing along.
Feeling all parts of you, body, mind, and spirit, touching each other there. And sense the gathering of light energy, of presence that is here, beginning to build as you bring your focus to it. And sense the dynamism that everything, even in this stillness, is always moving, pulsing, changing, coming into and out of existence in form. And notice its natural generativity. Notice its natural generosity. And how it just wants to radiate out, connecting with everything that's in the universe. With each part, and also with the whole. Take another deep breath in, and I invite you with this breath to become aware of those around you. Also, as beautiful centers of light, as centers of presence, and sense into this magnificent field that we are all inside of together. I invite you to breathe this field into your own heart, and then breathe it back out into the whole. And notice how in this exchange it becomes even more magnificent. Become aware of everyone in the room, everyone online, doing this very same thing. Feel yourself being breathed into every heart that is here and back out into the whole. Here in this field we are together, even though our physical bodies are in different places. Be aware of those present with you physically in this room, those who are virtual online, and those who will view this recording later. Breathing the wholeness of all of us in. Breathe into this rich multidimensionality of our collective presence across time, across space. Hearts will always find hearts. Allowing this field to reveal its nature to you as love, as joy, as peace, as generosity. And in your next breath, just allow this awareness that we are inside of to continue to wash over you and through you. Allow yourself to continue to breathe in this field that is in us, around us, that is us, during this service and into your week ahead, knowing in your heart of hearts that this is so. So welcome everybody. My name is E.Lee and I'm the spiritual director here. Yay! I'd like to begin by welcoming everyone that is here virtually online and to let you know that your presence very much is felt here. We cannot see you with our physical eyes, but we very much see you with the heart. And we so welcome everything that you are bringing just by being here. So thank you so very much. Next, I would like to welcome our first-time guests. Are there anyone that is here for the very, very first time, or even if you haven't been here in a really long time? Could you just stand for a moment? We're not going to ask you to say anything, promise. We just want an opportunity to actually give you some gifts, and we hope that we'll be giving you gifts ongoingly throughout the service. But the first gift will be a welcome packet. And this is an opportunity for you to get to know a little bit about the Unity movement and what we're about, and also about our local community, which is also very, very unique. And then we also have another energetic gift for you. And for that, we just invite you just to open your heart to receive, and we invite all of our community members just to rub your hands together and bring up this beautiful love energy that we already are. And then repeat after me. We see who you are.
We see who you are.
You are a magnificent divine creation.
You are a magnificent divine creation.
We love you.
We love you.
We bless you.
We bless you.
And we behold the light that you are.
And we behold the light that you are.
Thank you so much for being with us. Now I would like to invite our in-house Sangha to have an opportunity to greet each other. And so if you want to stand for that and walk around and kiss and hug each other, or wave across the room, or yes, fist bump, whatever actually will work, because we are all friends here.
So far, so good. There was a slight hiccup with trying to get the stream to start, so I had to make a different video, but we'll fix it later.
Oh, okay, no worries. Just have to
Hello. Oh, I was sick on Monday, but I was here on Friday. Or Sunday.
Hey, John Jones. Well, I was in India. Did you hold me in your heart? Just the way
I did, yes, as a matter of fact.
Thank you
I
very
did,
much.
Michelle did, Danny did.
Yeah. It's great
How
to
was
be
that?
back
Are you,
amongst my friends.
Are you gonna have some kind of a little thing where you talk about that trip? Because
I have no little things to talk about.
there's not a whole lot of cats that get to go to India.
It was a phenomenal trip. Amy and I went to Goa, and we did a lot of exploring, and really the cultural difference when you're there, it just changes you because it's so different. But we have things to do here. So let's move on. My name is Don Pastor, that don't know me. And I am honored to be on your leadership team, and this is our time for, I call them thank yous and invitations, and thank you for a new acronym, and that is PDD, which is Powerful Divine Downloads. And I wanted to change it to SPDD, for Spontaneous Powerful Downloads. I watched the service from last week this morning, and it was a great setup for today's talk. And let's do our identity statement, because it really leads into the next part of our service. And together we are family for each other, welcoming, nurturing, and awakening one another at depth. And what Lisa and your leadership is doing, and it really is our purpose, birthing the new human as the face of evolving love on the planet. And the transformation of what is being taught here literally is birthing a new human. And I can attest to it, but I won't ramble on. So we have some ongoing events here. One of those is our prayer team on Tuesday gets together, and we will pray over the prayer requests. So that's the first invitation. There are prayer request forms. You can fill those out. You can put them in the offering basket. We have a box out in the hallway. But we will attend to those prayers. And we also pray for the abundance and success of this community. And we pray for a worldwide peace and abundance together. So that's a weekly event. A Course in Miracles. And we also have another event on Wednesdays. But what this transformation requires, this community, is support and love. And if A Course in Miracles isn't a great time for you all to get together and really be yourselves as we move out of this ego and into love's presence. If you guys aren't doing that, I don't know what else you're doing. It's really phenomenal. It's a great group. And so you're invited. The times are Monday, 5:30, they start to gather live here, and at 6 o'clock, they do a Zoom, and you can get that Zoom registration from our website. So please pay close attention, and if you haven't gone, it really is a great group. And then our midweek inspiration is really designed to do the same thing. And that is at 1 o'clock. It's a Zoom only, but wherever you're at and you come, we are open to whatever the expression you bring. And our focus, of course, is the inspirational message of the week. And so we go into a little bit of depth of the special reading and Lisa's message, but it really is here to support the community. Let's see, there's not a slide for this, but on Tuesday, C.S.E. is inviting us to join them at the Sun Coast at 4:45 for bowling. Now, Ira and I bowled. Several of the Course of Miracles people came and supported the bowling last month when they did it. And it was a great kick. And it is a fundraiser. It's $25 and you get to bowl, and there's more pizza than we could finish, and it really is a good time. So, yeah, did you want to say something, Ira? Ira's our board president, ladies and gentlemen.
You can just hang out with us for $15 fundraiser. There is a sign-up sheet in the back. So we were supposed to have everybody signed up today, but we just showed up, a bunch of us.
Yes. I think that takes us to another musical selection.
Oh, boy.
All right.
It could. What do you feel like doing?
Let's do something about air.
About air? Yeah. Everybody needs air.
Right?
Yeah. Okay.
And,
Well,
you know.
that's pretty profound.
Just figure that out all by myself.
This is a song that E.Lee introduced the ensemble to. Although I have been a fan of Michael Gott, and I don't know if you guys know Reverend Michael Gott, I believe in Houston? Dallas? Houston? Something like that. He's pretty tapped in. That cat's pretty. It's like the air around me. It's like the sunlight on my face. I feel the love of God surround me. I'm touched by amazing grace. And all I've ever wanted, all I've ever needed is already there. Closer than the sunlight, and nearer than the air. I breathe in, I feel the Spirit. This health to my body, peace to my mind, this joy breath becomes a song, singing all along, we're singing everywhere. It's nearer than the prayer to thank you. And my breath becomes a song, the singing all along, singing everywhere. It's nearer than the end. Like the air around me,
Brings joy,
like the sunlight over me.
joy to my soul.
Feel the love of God surround me.
Filled with the Spirit,
I'm touched by His grace. Joy.
That is John Jones and Transformation Station. Wow. Yeah, very beautiful. So speaking of that inspirational word, I have the honor of reading today's special reading. And this is really good stuff. So yeah, you can just put yourself in that state of imagining as you listen to these words. The word for today is beyonding. And the affirmation: just beyond my limits lives the love that I truly am. And this quote: transformation demands kenosis, the continual pouring out of the self that we work so hard to construct. It requires that we pour out all of our identifications and come from the larger whole. This energy is a truly evolutionary force, the birth pangs of union on a more expanded plane of loving. And that's a quote from the We Wanting, which is a company that Lisa and some of her cohorts run. And I suppose at some time you'll give us more information about that. And the first paragraph here: through the eyes of the ego, the world exists as a collection of boxes, a planetary assortment of pre-cut forms with clearly defined beginnings and endings. All that is possible lies inside a predictable safety, while everything outside, if you even dared to think of this, is dangerous, akin to believing in a flat earth with unimaginable horrors beyond its edges. But it is just in this place, through though unimaginable to the ego, that our true spiritual journey begins. And at that door, we meet who we think we are when we say the word, I am. Are we the I within the box or the I just beyond? Will we claim the limitations of our egos, or will we heed the alluring voice beckoning to us from larger realms? That place where the PDD comes from. Beyonding is the ongoing spiritual practice of reaching across the divide between who we think we are and the vaster truth of us abiding in multiple dimensions in the universe. Creating from here manifests the miracle of transformation needed to bring the world into its next stage of evolution. Today, whenever I feel trapped by the confines of small thinking, I practice the freedom of beyonding. I may still see my boxes, but I know that I can no longer reside there. I reach into the realm of limitless possibilities and discover the magnificence of a more elegant self. This is the home of the love that I truly am, and here I am at rest. And together, the affirmation, just beyond my limits lives the love that I truly am, and so it is.
And let's kind of keep that thought going. Lisa, I love your writing. Lisa wrote that for the people that know. I can't wait for the book to come out. So let's just remember. Can you leave the affirmation up? We're focused on this. Just beyond my limits lives the love I truly am.
Stop here, can we just levitate and, transcend, and we have arrived. Exactly. And so we have been inside of a really beautiful exploration about direct knowing. And it's called Face to Face, the Path of Direct Knowing. And I like the first week we talked about it as a really dangerous path. Because usually that's what culture says. If you do anything that's countercultural, have you noticed that? It's dangerous. Horrible things are going to happen to you. And so there is that level of danger of what happens when you directly listen to your inner voice of the divine and live totally out of that. And so we've been taking a look at what that really is. And I came across this quote. Some of you may have heard part of it already. It says, when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. But I really love the second part of this, which says, when the student is really ready, the teacher will disappear. And that's really more of what we are talking about here, is in that disappearance of all the things that we hold on to in culture that are false, there is a reappearance or an emergence of something that is so alive, so vital, that it will transform our lives and the planet. So I'm also reminded of this story about my son when he was 4. Of course, now as an adult, he totally denies this happened, but I absolutely recall it. And I remember him coming to me and he said, "Mom, I'm getting ready to ask you a question. And if you don't know, I don't want you to say I don't know. I want you to make something up, because that's what I always do." And something about that was so inspiring, because what he was really inviting me to do is bring the fullness of your presence to this. Because if you bring the fullness of your presence to this, there is no I don't know. There always is a wisdom. And he really exemplified this as a child. He would say these brilliant one-liners. I wish I had really written them down. And we would ask him, "James, where did you get that from?" And he would say, "My mind told me." And it was true. He hadn't got it from anywhere. He was just really living in that total presence of direct knowing. I think that as coming in as children, we really get that already, like we come in that way. And then somehow we get trained out of it, that we're supposed to, be obedient and, follow the rules of culture and all of that type of thing. So we're about the undoing of all of that process. And so the series is about direct knowing, about what it is, how to do it, and we're going to be looking at it, or in the process of looking at it in 3 ways. And one of them has to do with how we think about God, really important. The second is how we begin to tap into our own inner intuition, what we were just talking about. And the third one is how we think about ourselves. So in week 1, it was called the Divine Mansions, many faces of God. And so that's where we really took a look at how do we look at God. And we have a couple of really brilliant spiritual teachers that have shown us there are at least 3 ways. Now, of course, it was called Many Faces of God, so don't get stuck on 3 that number, and say that's it, because the whole point is to step out of the box. And so the first one is the infinite face of God, or the face of emptiness. And that's really the beauty of the immensity of the divine. There is no problem that cannot really be embraced by the divine. And to be able to just step into and breathe into something that is so large, that is beyond your thinking, beyond what your imagination is, and just knowing that that largeness is holding you. And the second is the infinite face of God, or the intimate face of God, or the face of fullness. So that seems like a contradiction, but it's really the really beloved relationship we have with the divine. This part of the divine that we can call Abba, Father, Daddy, and that has numbered the hairs on our head, that knows everything absolutely that we're going through, that can give us a hug whenever we need it. And then there's the inner face of God. And this is the one, I remember a friend of mine telling me, well, the first 2 are pretty good. Third one, I don't know about that one. Because that's the one where you really know that you are the divine. That this is your identity, that you really are that close to the divine, and be able to really stand in the power and immensity of that, to know this is who you are. Identity is so potent. That's what we're going to be talking about today. So that's the third one, and it's not to pick one of the other. It's to really be in all of these faces of God, and to interact in a variety of different ways within the 3, knowing that there are so many more divine mansions. So last week we really took a look at how do we hear and trust our inner voice. It was cultivating trust, hearing the music of the spheres. And that's where we really took a look at the anatomy of the PDD that Don was referencing earlier. Having a powerful divine download. We decided to go all the way down the rabbit hole. There are so many ways of hearing the divine, but how do we have to be to hear something? I mean, can you imagine the divine talking to you about how to transform the planet? Can you imagine receiving that? Who do you have to be able to hear that type of a download, and then to be able to receive it and to actually live it? So that's what we're inside of there. So as I said last week, I really think we should create a t-shirt that said, I had my have you had your PDD today? And, all of these things could be very cute on there. And I was talking to Al about it, and it says that, when you have like a t-shirt like that, it's like it becomes a conversation point, And then other people have to then ask you a question, because of course, even though you know what a PDD is, they don't. So then you need to explain to them about how to have a powerful divine download. So actually, I have had this actually happen. I did a talk at Renaissance Unity called Traveling at the Speed of God. And the CEO at the time decided that would be a really cool bumper sticker. So he actually created bumper sticker, and we all had this on our car. And the idea is, if you ever get stopped for speeding, you refer the police officer to your bumper sticker, and then everything is going to be perfectly fine. Because I didn't hear how that actually worked, but but I think it's a really powerful thing to catch your eye with. It's traveling at the speed of God, because this word speed, when you put God with it, becomes something totally different. Speed, we think about something that happens within time and space. You start point A and you end at point B, and it's a matter of how fast you get there. But really, the type of speed that we're talking about when we talk about the divine is like pure eminence. It's like there's just nothing in the way. Like you are just totally accessible to the divine in every possible way, to be a flow-through space. Can you imagine just living like that? And so that's when we talk about speed, there's a total collapse of time and space, and just that power. So just imagine that things can come through you and really manifest in the blink of an eye. Because sometimes the mind says, no, there's a process. There's a point, A, and then we have to go to point B, and we have to go to point C. And eminence is like there's just nothing in the way of that. So that's kind of when we talk about really being in this space of direct knowing, that's what we're talking about, that type of spiritual speed. So one of the things that really plays a key role in being able to be this way, as I mentioned before, is identity. What we say when we say the word I. So I want you to think back throughout the day and the day yesterday. Think about some times that you said the word I and what came after it. And ask yourself a question. Did it express pure eminence? Did it express this largeness of possibility, you being a flow-through space, from the spirit into the manifest world of a powerful divine download? And a lot of times we kind of downplay ourselves as humans with that, but think about that. I give you that, the inspiration that for the rest of the day, when you say the word I, be mindful of what happens after that. It's a very, very powerful thing. So this week, we're going to be taking a look at that. The name of our title for this week is I Am, Our Interdimensional Identity. And so to set this up, I have been working with a teacher called Jeff Carrera for many, many years. He's absolutely totally wonderful. He's a meditation teacher, but very deep mystic. And he's one of the ones, I remember I said, I had this inspiration like years ago, learn many languages. And so far, the only thing I can speak is English, but I began to realize that it wasn't really about that kind of language. It was learning how, like God is, you can say God in many languages. You can say God, and you can say love, you can say a variety of different things, spirit. I wanted to be able to speak to atheists about God. I wanted to be able to speak to anybody and not have it be this weird thing, and get really stuck in the language piece. And so Jeff Carrera is a person that really helped me to work through some of that, just by how he is. So he has this thing that he calls the things in space perspective. And it's kind of a Newtonian way of thinking. And most of us, when I describe it to you, you think about it, yeah, of course, who else, how else would we think about it? But he calls it the things in space perspective, which means there's a thing here, there's nothing there, and then there's another thing here. And we kind of live thinking that the universe looks like that. And we make meaning of our world, and even conceptually, whereas, we have things in concept, we think of them as a thing. And we put them in boxes, and the mind likes to do that. There's a beginning, there's an end, okay, we can finish with that, and then we can move on to the next thing. Or there's a plateau, we think of that in our spiritual development, don't we? You know, we're here, okay, now we have elevated and we're at this stage, and we're at this stage. Like most of us really like stages of development and various things like that, which, you know, have some type of a hierarchy where, you know, at the top you're an ascended master. And of course, everyone that goes through that is an ascended master immediately, you know, when they go through that whole process. But, you know, this is a different type of way of thinking. And Don and I have this ongoing joke that I make up words. So he's right, I make up words. Usually the way I make up a word is because the current language is so trapped in that little like box to box thing. And the universe is alive. It moves, it breathes, it's in relationship with itself all the time. And I like to think of it as it's always giving itself a hug, you know, in all these various kinds of ways. And if we use language that creates boxes, we miss all of that. So my last word that I have made up is beyonding. So it actually is not in the dictionary. Well, it's in my dictionary now because you know how computers let you do that, like you can add to dictionary. So now it's in my dictionary. And the ing part is really, really crucial. So beyonding is the ongoing spiritual practice of reaching across the divide between who we think we are and the vaster truth of us abiding in multiple dimensions in the universe. So the reason that the ing is there so that you don't think, okay, I reached across yesterday and I came to this new way of being and now I'm done. This is a good place to be and it's going to kind of stay here on this plateau. So this is a different way of thinking about that, beyonding. This is something we do every moment of every day. Because we always have some type of limit. It just seems to be kind of the rules of living in the third dimension. We always have some type of limit that we think about ourselves with or associate ourselves with. So there's always an opportunity to reach across. So this becomes an activity that we do on an ongoing basis that helps us to always tap into what this next I is. And we don't know what it is until we reach. So this is really a perpetual giving up and a surrender of who we are to embrace our next glorious expansion of self. So in the We Wanting, as Don was mentioning, that's an organization that 5 of us actually have co-created together, and it is based in the We space, and it is a form of various types of spiritual meditations that are partner-based or relational-based. And so I'm going to get into a little bit more of that next week. But I wanted to share this quote. Transformation demands kenosis, the continual pouring out of the self that we work so hard to construct. It requires that we pour out all of our identifications and come from a larger whole. This energy is truly an evolutionary force, the birth pangs of union on a more expansive plane of loving. And so there's a lot that's kind of in that quote. So we're actually going to use this quote again next week. So I'm giving you a little heads up on that. But for today, I wanted to look at 2 really important points that have to do with what we're talking about today. And the first one is the word kenosis. I don't know if you've heard of that word before, but it is a word that comes from the Greek, and it's derived from the Greek verb kenu, which means to empty or to make empty. And the noun kenosis is used to denote the act of self-emptying. It has been used in Christian traditions to really point to the activity of the Christ of really denouncing himself in a variety of different ways, or make of himself no reputation is actually how the kenosis is directly translated. But I like this idea of this total emptying, and very often we don't really think about emptying everything when we think about emptying into the divine. We only think about the bad parts, right? We only want to get rid of, certain bad habits of procrastination. I'm going to get rid of that, so forth and so on. But this is a total type of emptying, even the really good parts. Even the part of you that saved all those people from the burning building yesterday. Like it's that total absolute giving. And the pouring out of the libation. The word libation really originates from the term libatio, and its root is also in the Roman and the Greek cultures, and it refers to, it's used in many different types of religious offerings, the pouring of a liquid. It's typically performed as a symbolic gesture to honor deities or ancestors and to create a connection between the divine and the human realms by an act of purification, gratitude, or commune with the divine. And so libation has this very similar type of image where there's a total overpouring of a cup, like a cup that is too full, that completely overflows, that is filled with generosity and willingness, that comes from the bottom of one's heart and not from a sense of duty and responsibility. So it's the total surrendering and giving of oneself at that level. And so it begins to beg the question, who would do such a thing? I mean, usually this is not required, like, to get up and go to work and come home. So this is a different type of an ask. And this is very much tuned into what I said with that pure eminence. So I wanted to just talk a little bit about Maslow's hierarchy of needs, and I really think that comes into play here. Some of you may be familiar with it. Maslow was an influential American psychologist who's best known of his theory of human motivation. He was just really passionate about this. What makes people do what they do? And so he came up with two categories of motivation. One says that it basically all of it comes down to needs and what our human needs are. And so the first category is deficiency needs. And those are our basic needs, and it usually comes from the standpoint of we seek these to be filled because we feel deficient in some way or something that's missing or lacking in some way or another. And then there are growth needs or being needs. These are the needs that come out of another type of motivation. So I'm just going to run through them very quickly. So in terms of the deficiency needs, first ones are the physiological needs such as food, water, shelter, sleep. Basic bodily functions, all fall in this particular category. The next one is safety needs. We need to really feel that we are safe here on the planet. It's personal safety, financial security, job security, health, well-being. The next one is love and belonging needs. So after the others are filled, so you had this kind of hierarchy, which means that you start at the bottom and then you fill and move all the way to the top. So the love and belonging needs are positive relationships, forming friendships, experiencing intimacy, feeling accepted within a social group or a community. And the next one are called esteem needs. And there's two kinds of esteem. And one is self-esteem, how you're feeling about yourself, and the other is esteem of others. So self-esteem would be feelings of self-worth, self-respect, self-confidence. The esteem of others is how you're receiving recognition for the good work that you're doing, respect, appreciation from others, all of that falls onto that. And so if you're failing to meet any of these, then there's a lack of a sense of a personal well-being. And so he says that you really need to fulfill these basic needs in order to move on to the next higher tier, which are the growth needs, and there are two of them that fall in that category. The first one is self-actualization, and that's personal growth, self-discovery, the pursuit of one's passions and interests. It includes a sense of authenticity, creativity, and a striving for personal excellence. So I want to note too that there's kind of a break there. There's kind of a falling off of humanity from the deficiency needs onto the growth needs. Not everybody thinks this way. What is my purpose? Why have I come to the earth? What do I need to do in order to really fulfill that purpose? And then the next one is self-transcendence, which is really the top of the rung. And this is really transcending the self, and it involves connecting with something that is greater than oneself. such as a greater purpose or a higher power or connecting to the collective of humanity. And it's really characterized by a sense of unity, interconnectedness, and a concern for the welfare of others. And interestingly enough, the deficiency needs that I've mentioned before, they're a form of motivation, but once those needs are fulfilled, the motivation goes down, like the energy kind of depletes. And with the growth or the being needs, the motivation actually increases. I found that very interesting. That if you have the aspiration to go for those types of needs, you actually are becoming more generative, or there's more energy for you to do that. I like to look at it also in terms of being motivated by fear or love. You know, which one will it be? And very often we say we like to be motivated by love, but it takes a kind of a transcendence to be able to move to that level. And I like to think of it too, because I remember when I was at Renaissance Unity, we would have certain people that would come there because they had problems. Of course, this happens at every church, right? They have a problem, and they need you to work with them, and then you to fix it. And so you work with them and do a variety of different type of things, and you pray with them, and then their problem goes away, and so do they. And you never see them again. This is like a frustrating thing. I'm like, wait a minute, we just started. Think of what we could do now. Like we're just, got our foot in the door to something absolutely magnificent. And I think it's really also looking at it from an energetic standpoint, a matter of spiritual gravity. I think we've talked about this before, your own weight in the world. And if you are seeking things to happen from the standpoint of your own individual needs, that's a certain weight, there's certain possibilities that go along with that. But if you think about really transforming the world, why have you come here? To allow something that is larger than yourself to flow through you, you have what we call a spiritual heft, which means that you have this ability to be this conduit in a very powerful way between the world of spirit and the world of form. So we're moving into that area of speed. So I'd like you to take a look at, we're going to take a look now at 4 I am possibilities that we really live with on an ongoing basis. And I'd like you to think of each of them in terms of a lens. Each of them is a lens on how you make meaning of the world. That's one of the reasons why identity is so powerful. So if you're stuck at any one of these, you don't have the possibility of viewing the world in the most expanded, most loving way. So we'll start off first with the I am of matter. And this is the world that is perceptible at the level of the 5 senses. And this is also how we look at ourselves. And we have a physical body. And when we can interact with the physical body through touching it, hearing it, all of the 5 senses. And we also can interact with our world on that level. This is the level also of Newtonian science, functions very well in the realm of the 5 senses. So what I'd like us to do now is just take a breath and close your eyes, because none of these are wrong. We're just going to really be with the energy of each of these. So I invite you just to breathe and just to be inside of the magnificence of your own physical self, your physical body. Just to think that 13.7 billion years of evolution are involved in this physical body. Just bring your awareness to how the blood is flowing in your veins, trillions of cells, how they are all functioning without you telling every single one of them what to do. There's a magnificent wisdom that is here. And expand this out to your physical world, things that you can touch, things that you can see with your eyes, things that you can taste, and include that in your awareness. Bring your sense of gratitude to this world. take another deep breath in and return to the room. Feel the groundedness of that. This three-dimensional world is very, very grounding. So the next I am is the I am of personality. And this is our cultural story, or cultural stories. And this is the I that has been created over the entire time of our lives. It started out with our parents, telling us who we are, telling us what is possible. All of the good stories, all the challenging stories, they have become this lens through which we make meaning of our world. So I invite you to again close your eyes and to live inside of this. This is the way that we really touch into our ancestors, stories that have come down through the ages, that have formed our personality, that have formed the way that we choose how to interact with the world. This is the land of typologies. There's an aspect of the Enneagram that functions in this way. We have an Enneagram type that tells us how we have chosen to interact with this world and why. So inviting you just to appreciate this level of your being, your personality, and to extend your awareness out to other personalities in your life, knowing that they, like you, have been formed through so many interactions with culture, with teachers, with parents. Be in this richness of personality. For many of us, if we learn how to negotiate at this level, we can really move forward in the third dimension. The next I am, or lens of perception, is the I am of beyonding that we are talking about. This is the self beyond time, beyond space. This is our activity, our spiritual activity of reaching beyond the I am of matter, reaching beyond the I am of personality. Befriending the largeness of mystery. Just sense yourself, bring your perception into that activity of this beyonding, this beautiful reach. And inside of here, sense the spiritual gravity that is here, that is coming from love, of purpose in the world. The heft of spiritual gravity from your commitment to your higher power, to something that is larger than yourself. And now imagine yourself in total libation, pouring out the I am of matter and the I am of personality into this expansiveness. Sense the love that's present in this reaching. And this knowingness that just beyond my limits live the love that I truly am. The faith in this love. As Johnn sang in this beautiful song, it's truly nearer than the air. Feel that closeness. Breathing it into your mind, into your body, into your heart. eyes were here, as your eyes continue to be closed, we're going to move into a meditation of miracles, because this is what this realm is, the land of miracles. So I invite you to focus on the quality of air that is coming in and out, recognizing it as a magnificent exchange with the universe. Recognizing this quality of air is a living, breathing being in its own right. So just allowing this air to be interpenetrating, to be in conversation with every part of your being. Know that you're breathing in all that the universe ever has been and ever will be. It's living beingness in conversation with your living beingness. Breathing in health to your body, peace to your mind, joy to your soul. Become aware of the stardust, golden particles of energy that had grounded up, grounding in deep time, connecting us with the origins of the universe. A time before and beyond the rules of the confines of the world as we know them, before the laws of physics. So enter to the freedom that is here. It's a kind of a spiritual wildness, a sweetness, a vulnerability, and an unleashed power. Breathe into that power and potency. Something that is more sovereign, more whole, more fundamental, more magical, more miraculous. Sense into this dynamic tapestry of love. A love that always knew that we were coming. In this land of the miraculous lives the love that you truly are. Breathe the awareness of this love as your beingness into your mind, into your body, into your heart. The I am of the matter, the I am of personality, the I am of pure spirit. All that lives and breathes as a living miracle as you. Sense this wild, miraculous quality as your very birthright. You are a holon of miracles. You radiate miracles to the world. Your very presence every day lets the world know, in a universe of 13.7 billion years of miracles unfolding, we ain't seen nothing yet. Breathe in the joy of that. We're just beginning. On your next out breath, breathe out the prayer to end all prayers. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Bask in this gratitude of beingness. Bask in the deep interconnection with all that there is. Say to yourself, I am. I am. I am. I am. Breathe this truth into your heart, knowing that this is the way it really is.
my every word. You hear me in my silence, my every whisper. Everything that's broken, every missing piece. For I know once you've spoken, you're giving us your peace. I come to you with everything that I am, with only my empty hands, lifted high in surrender. I lay down my life in your hands. Take over my heart, take over my soul. You're making me new, making me whole. I know that you're here, God, you are here. Let my faith fill every fear. Broke my heart completely, every anxious thought. Change me, Lord, make me, mold me, lead me to your heart. I come to you with everything that I am, with only my empty hands, lifted high in surrender. My God, wherever you reign, take over my heart, take over my soul.
and Transformation Station, again, another round of applause for Transformation Station. The music and the message. Phenomenal. What a morning.
Where is everybody? We gotta get more people here.
Invite
This is so good.
your, invite your friends.
Everybody, let's commit to bring somebody next.
You have lots of friends.
I do.
I
Where
know.
are they here?
They're
called.
They're here.
It's my
I'm here. But this is our time for our gifts, our time to celebrate with your financial contributions as a way of thanking this ministry and ensuring our future. We have an affirmation. If you would like to hold your gift in your hand, we'll say it together. Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. And if you'll bring your gifts up to the basket, thank you so much. Message, Lisa said there are 3 ways to pray, and I'm thinking to myself, which way am I going here? So let's see. You close your eyes and come into that space, that heart space, just beyond the personality and just beyond these words. There is an infinite field of potential. Holy Spirit delivers easily to each of our lives our abundant nature of love. And it does manifest physically, and it does manifest eternally. You are a spiritual being having existed forever and will continue. And in this life, we are so grateful. Grateful for each other, grateful for what we have, and indeed, there is more. Thank you, God, and so it is.
So everybody repeat after me. I am.
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 Just beyond my limits
Just beyond my limits
lives the love I truly am.
lives the love I truly am.
And I am at home.
Amen.
Have a blessed week.
Thank you. You're perfect. I didn't mean to make anybody feel like this was not enough. This is amazing. You guys are amazing.
Right?
But I want to bring
Yeah, I dig that too. Quality over quantity.
I just think the message here is so amazing. Lisa, like if we're really going to change the world needs change. And if the rest of the world could just be more like us.
All right, would you please stand with us as you'd like to or are able to? And we're going to close out with a little rockin' version of the peace song. 2, 3, 4.
The power of God protects us. We are the power of God. The presence of God watches over us. We are the presence of God. Wherever we are, God is